And we're going to jump right into grammar on page 43. 43. And since this is new to some of you, I want you guys to get out a post-it note. We're going to label this page. So if you have a post-it note in your supply box or bag, you just need one. You just stick it upside down like that. And then we're going to put adverb clause and then www.asia.b on it. So I know the ones who've had my class before are Eliana and Chloe and Liana. I know you guys already know the www.asia words. That's good. But some of you are new to this, so I want to make sure you mark this page. You're going to need to come back to it to memorize these. So see how I stuck it upside down? This part is not sticky, so we can label this page. Adverb clause, www.asia.b. Okay, does anybody want to volunteer without looking to say all the www words? Who has them memorized? Okay, Chloe, try not to look.
When, while, where, Asia, as, so, no, this, so, if,
Oh, that's fanboys. The S is since, as, since.
I know if,
Yes.
well,
Although, yes. And then the B.
because,
Good, you got it. Woohoo! Anybody else want to do it? Liana, do you remember? Don't look.
Um, as
Do the W's first.
was
When,
when was
while,
while was
where.
where um as
Yes.
said
Since,
since
if,
if
although.
although because
Yes, good. You were close. You were very close. Eliana, do you have it memorized?
Um, never really got the chance to memorize them.
Oh my goodness. All right. So everybody, does anybody else, Esther or Dakota, do you know them? Go ahead, Esther.
Um, when, well, where, as, um, since,
Yes.
um,
If.
oh, if, although, because,
Good. You're so close. Yes, that's it. Okay, this is what we're going to do. You guys stay muted. So mute yourself. Okay, Eliana. And you're going to repeat after me. And you can look at your page this time. So even though you're muted, I still want you to say it in your room. Okay, so say when, while, where, as, since, if, although, because. You say it. As, since, if, although, because. Okay, so you're going to repeat it. So I'll say it first. When, while, where. You say it. As, since, if, although, because. Okay, good. I see some of you moving your mouth like you're saying it. I want you to repeat it. We'll do it one more time. I'll say it and then you copy. When, while, where. As, since, if, although, because. Okay. Those are the www.asia.b words. Those are the beginning of the adverb clause. So when you see one of these words, it's going to signal to you that it is an adverb clause. I want you to mark this page because you're going to need to know these this week for homework. Look at the example here. Because Robin was now an outlaw, he had to hide where the sheriff could not find him. So notice because is the B in the www.asia.b. Now, this is just a fun way to memorize, like fanboys, okay? It sounds like a website, and it probably is about Asia. That doesn't matter. This is more to help you remember what these words are. And an adverb clause always goes with a sentence that's already complete. So it's just adding information to the sentence. Yes, Eliana?
When I first started the class with Mrs. Meadows, I almost searched up that. I almost searched up the
To
because
see
I
if
thought it was an
you
actual website.
So notice how they put parentheses around the clause and they're going to label it AC. That stands for adverb clause. And the other thing to remember is they do have verbs, subject verb pair. So because Robin is the subject, was is the verb here. And that is the adverb clause in parentheses. He had to hide where the sheriff could not find him. So where is one of the W's here. And then we have a subject verb pair. Notice that there's a couple comma rules here when it comes to adverb clause. So if the adverb clause comes first in the sentence like this one, it needs a comma after it, okay? So because Robin was now an outlaw, comma, he had to hide where the sheriff could not find him. If the adverb clause comes after the main clause, if it's after that, no comma. See how after this is considered the main clause right here. He had to hide. That's considered a main clause. After that, you don't have to put the comma for the second adverb clause there. Another thing we're going to talk about is down here. This is basically saying the word as, is on two different lists. It's on the www.asia list and it's on the list of prepositions. Two totally different functions in a sentence. So you must look at what's near the word as. If you see a verb near the word as, it's going to be a clause, an adverb clause. If you do not see a verb near it, it's going to be a prepositional phrase. So look at the two examples here. Prepositional phrase, as an outlaw. Notice there's no verb here. As an outlaw, Robin hid from the sheriff. Now, the word hid is a verb. It's later in the sentence, okay? This isn't a prepositional phrase. Here it is as an adverb clause, as he hid. Notice the word hid is closer to the word as now. As he hid in the forest, Robin collected a band of loyal men. So pay attention to that. Just because you see the word as, don't automatically think it's a prepositional phrase or automatically think it's an adverb clause. You have to look around it to see which way it's functioning in the sentence. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about that page? All right. I see you shaking your head no, so we're going to move on. Is your hand up from earlier, Eliana? Maybe you could put it down for me. Okay. Chloe, could you read the sentence, please?
For an entire year, Robin sheltered in Sherwood Forest while he met other outlaws and gained valuable hunting skills.
Nice. Okay, so sheltered. It has an ed. That's a clue that it's a verb. So it's actually an action. And I see the word shelter in there. So he's basically finding a place to hide, right? She's sheltered in the forest. So he's hiding in the forest. All right, there's one article. Go ahead and find that. And then when you're ready, Dakota, how about the 5 nouns?
Robin,
Robin.
Sherwood Forest,
And we're going to put a bracket on that one because that's the name. Good.
skills,
Good.
um, outlaws,
Good, you got it. Those are people. So yes, that's a noun. The last one, you'll see a clue when you see Anne, the article. There's a noun coming. So which one do you think is a noun after that?
Year.
Yes, year. For an entire year. So because of that and, that tells us that a noun is coming. Eliana, did you have a question?
I can't find my grammar book.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Well, just watch then, at least for now, okay?
Okay.
Unless you can look for it while you're listening. All right, those are the five nouns. Pronoun. How about Liana? Where's the pronoun?
Um,
Remember what those are? It's going to take the place of a noun. So instead of Robin, later we refer back to him as something else.
he.
Yes, he. Good. That's the pronoun. And by the way, Robin sounds like it could be a girl's name, but we already know it's a boy. It could be a boy's name too. If you've heard of Robin Williams, that was his name too. Adjectives. Let's see. Esther, three adjectives, four adjectives. Look at those nouns and see if you can see anything before it that kind of gives more information about it. Like what kind of skills. You see it? It's for you, Esther.
Hunting.
Hunting is one, and there's one more before that too.
Valuable.
Yes, valuable is telling what kind of skills. Valuable and hunting tell about the skills. What about the outlaws? Which outlaws were they?
Other.
Good. And then what year?
And entire.
Good, you got it. Nice. So it's easy to find those once you find the nouns first. What about the coordinating conjunction, Eliana? You can look at mine. I know you don't have your book with you.
Or so and
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 and there you go. Yep.
yippee.
I'm going to have Chloe do the adverb clause next. We'll come back to prepositional phrases, but Chloe, where's the adverb clause? That's the Asia word. In fact, let's write this in here. Dot Asia. Do you see the Asia word in here?
While
Yes, good. While, and then where does it end?
outlaws,
It's going to go all the way to the end of the sentence because it says, while he met other outlaws, and it's continuing, okay, and gained valuable hunting skills. Since it continues, we need to go all the way to the end, and then we're going to label this AC. Subject verb pair. So Dakota, help us find the verbs. Sometimes those are easier to spot. What action words do you see here?
Gained.
Gained is one. Good.
Sheltered.
Good. Those are the easy ones. So they have ED.
Met.
Good. Met is one. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's all of them. Okay, so Dakota, who was it that sheltered?
Robin.
Robin's the subject. How about inside the adverb clause? What's the subject?
He.
Very good. You got it. Now, if that makes sense to you, do it that way on your homework to find the verbs first and then the subject, or the other way around, whatever makes sense to you. And now the prepositional phrases. You got this, Liana.
Um, for an entire year.
Yes, for an entire year. And
In Sherwood Forest.
good, you got it. That's why I wait till the end, because there they are. They're the only ones that don't have a label yet. Very good. Prepositional phrases. What about the opener, Esther? What kind of an opener is this? We learned that last week.
Give me one moment.
Yeah.
It's
By the
not
way, oh, go ahead.
it's not an ly opener.
Right. It's not. That's true.
Come on, buddy. Is it a is it no, it's not a subject, is it?
No, it's underlined, so it's a prepositional phrase. What kind of
That's
an
true.
opener?
Is it a prepositional opener?
Yes, it is. What number is that?
Uh,
I saw that,
Two?
Liana.
Is that two?
It is a two. Good. And I like to write it in prepositional. By the way, I forgot to ask you guys, did you get a chance to watch the video from last week? Because okay, I see some of you nodding.
Yes.
I canceled class, but I recorded my in-person class, but it's the same lesson for you guys. So some of you saw it, some of you didn't. Make sure you go back and watch that because that was from last week's lesson. And that's when we talked about the prepositional opener. So, all right, capitals, you can do that by yourself. Those are pretty easy. How about the comma rule? Eliana, what should we do with the comma?
Um, comma, where is it? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we should take it away.
Okay, good. Because we're listing two things. He met and gained. So since it's just two, we don't need a comma right there. And then the end mark is just a period. All right. Any last minute questions about the grammar? You guys did good. So remember, you can move around on that list. It's okay to do that. Um, some people were saying that the answer key was a little bit different than your homework pages. So just let me know if that happens. I don't know why that happened this last time, but anyway, okay. Let's put away grammar and get out your binders now. Some of you did not get a chance to do last week's homework because I canceled class, so we're just going to move on, okay? It was another story sequence chart last week. So that is creative writing, by the way. When we make up stories with characters and setting and problems and climax and solution, all of that, that's called creative writing. And now we're going to move back into academic writing. We're going to write a report this week. But don't worry if you like that creative writing, we'll come back to it again. Okay. We kind of flip back and forth throughout the year. So we'll come back to the creative stuff. But for this week, I want you to take out the next week, which is week 7 called Dangerous Birds. So if you haven't done week 6 yet, leave it in your front pocket. But today we're going to work on one called Dangerous Birds. Week 7, and you're going to take out a bunch of papers. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 papers. Yeah, 7 pages actually. Week 7, Dangerous Birds. And then you do need a piece of lined paper. So, Eliana, if you could turn your camera on. And do you have another question, by the way?
Didn't we do the ox and the heart stall this week? Because I was gonna read it, because I thought we were gonna read those today.
I think I'm going to skip reading that today, maybe at the end of class if we have time, but we have a lot to cover. So just hang on to that, okay? Did you have fun writing about it though? Good. I know you like the creative style writing. That's good. Did anybody else finish the heart and the ox stall story? Oh, good. Esther did too. Good. And you did too, Dakota? Good. Okay, good. We're going to move on because we have a lot to cover today, like I said. So give me a thumbs up if you have week 7 out of your binder. Good. And a piece of lined paper. All right. We're going to start with the lined paper here. I'm going to have you take some notes today in class. So go ahead and start by putting your name on your paper. That's always important. First and last name. Today is 10/30/25. October 30th. Skip a line and I want you to write this. If you've taken my class before, you know what this means. Summarizing a reference. Now, the word reference means information. Okay, so reference could be a book or a magazine or a website or a documentary or something like that, an encyclopedia, somewhere where you get information. That's what a reference is. If you go to the library and you go to the reference area, that's where you'll find dictionaries and thesauruses and encyclopedias and those types where you're finding information, okay? But I want to focus on the word summarizing. Just underline the first three letters, SUM. And when you see that, you probably think of math, right? Because you know what the sum of numbers are. If you have the sum of 2 plus 3, the sum is 5, right? When you're finding the sum, you're adding. But really, in writing, I want you to draw an arrow down right here, just a little arrow down, and I want you to write the word SOME. Really, that's what you're doing when you're summarizing information. By the way, let's put an arrow under this one too and put the word information. So a reference is where you're getting your information, where it comes from, right? But what you're doing when you're summarizing a reference, you're telling some information, not all. It doesn't make sense to write all the information because it's already been written. If somebody put it in an encyclopedia and it's got all the information in it, if you just write all of it again, that's silly, right? So what you're going to do is tell some or part of the information. Underneath the word some, I want you to draw this little funnel. And those who've had my class, you've seen this funnel before. Remember that? Yes, good. We use a funnel in life when we're changing the oil in the car, right? We have a big jug of oil, you got to pour it into this little hole and you use a funnel so you don't spill it everywhere, right? And sometimes you can do that like when you're cooking. I know Liana does a lot of cooking when you're putting something big into something smaller, even if you're filling a salt shaker or something like that, from a big thing of salt to a little thing of salt, you got to have a little funnel so that you can squeeze it in there. I want you to write the number 20 here, and then I want you to write the number 5 at the bottom. So when you read an article about something, you might have 20 facts about that thing, but you only need 5. And this week, you guys are going to learn about dangerous birds, and you're going to learn a lot about dangerous birds, but you only need 5 facts for each bird. Who remembers how are you going to pick which facts to write about? If you have 20 and you only need 5, how do you know which 5 to pick? You guys remember? Esther?
Keyword outline.
Yes, we're going to use a keyword outline, but when you're looking at the whole article though, how do you decide? Like how do you decide which facts to put down? Liana?
By picking the interesting ones?
Yay, you remembered. Interesting. And I'm going to put a star by that, and you can too. The interesting facts, if you think they're interesting, then more than likely the person reading your paper is going to think they're interesting too. Don't pick the boring stuff, right? You pick the interesting stuff because you want your paper to stand out, right? Because it's got cool stuff in it or interesting things. So as you're going through all the facts, narrow it down to the interesting ones. The other part you're going to look for is important information, and that would be things like where these birds are found, what country do they live in, things like that. That's important information, or like what they look like. Okay, that might also be interesting what they look like, but that's important information for the people to understand what you're talking about. And then the other word is relevant. So maybe if we're talking about dangerous birds, maybe something about their eggs. because birds lay eggs, right? So maybe there's something interesting or relevant about the eggs that you need to know. But I put a star only by interesting because that's the main thing you're going to focus on when you're picking your five. You want to pick things that are interesting as you're reading it. There's two parts to your outline now. One is the subject, and go ahead and put an equal sign there. And we're going to put the words dangerous birds. So your report this week is going to be about dangerous birds. And we're going to find out why they're dangerous and what makes them dangerous and what they are. They're pretty interesting. And then that's your main title. That's what your paper is all about. But in your paper, you're going to have 3 paragraphs, and these are called the topics. And these are the names of the birds. So I want you to copy this down. The first one we're going to read about is called the hooded pitahui, is how you say that. Hooded pitahui. That's the name of the bird. Let me zoom in because I know that's a weird word for you. The next one is the African ostrich and the southern cassowary. That's the name of that one. Each one of these is going to be a paragraph. So I'm going to put Roman numeral 1 over here, Roman numeral 2, and Roman numeral 3. So the hooded pitahui is going to be in Roman numeral 1. That's the first paragraph. The African ostrich is going to be in Roman numeral 2. That's the second paragraph. And then the southern cassowary is the third paragraph. But I wanted you to notice the subject of your paper is dangerous birds. That's the main thing you're talking about. The topics become your paragraphs. Each one of these is a dangerous bird. So you're going to do a whole paragraph on the hooded pitahui, a whole paragraph on the African ostrich, and a whole paragraph on the southern cassowary. I'm going to zoom out here. So those are our notes for this week. What I want you to do next is turn your notes over to the back side. And this is where we're going to set up our keyword outline. And Esther, you were right about that. We are going to use a keyword outline for this. So Roman numeral 1 at the top here. And even though I said 5 on the front side in our notes, it says that we're going to actually do 7 facts. So let's go all the way to 7, 6, 7, because these are going to be really interesting birds. You're going to want to have your facts here. And then I want you to add a word called clincher. Who remembers the topic clincher rule? Ooh, Chloe, do you remember it?
Is it like where you have to have 3 words that are the same in the first sentence and the last sentence?
Oh, I think Liana has it. You're close. You're super close. Do you remember how it goes, Liana? Do you remember the words? She's like, I know it. It's in my head.
It's
It goes like this.
this part.
It goes, the topic sentence.
The clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words.
Woohoo! Woo, woo, woo. You did it. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to say it and you guys copy. Stay muted so it doesn't get too echoey, but you're going to put your hand up like this. And the first part of it goes like this. The topic sentence, say that, and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. All right, and I want you to write these words here. Topic is here. This is your first sentence of your paragraph. That's why we do the part of the hand motions at the top. That's the first sentence. And then the clincher sentence is the last sentence. And that word clincher, I see the word clench. And if you clench something, it's like you're grabbing it with your hand like this. You're clenching it. And in writing, it means you're grabbing your reader. Whoever's reading your paper, it's like you're grabbing them. Not literally, you don't want to grab their throat or anything like that, but you're grabbing them with your words, right? And so when you repeat or reflect these words here, it really locks it in for the reader. So who can tell me, what does the word repeat mean? If you repeat a word, what does that mean, Esther?
To say it more than once.
To say it more than once, it's the same word, right? Exact same word. Like if I have the word cold, cold and cold, same word, that's repeating. Who can tell me what it means to reflect a word? What does that mean? When you reflect a word, like the word cold, what's another word like cold but different than cold? What's another way to say cold? Eliana?
Freezing.
Freezing. Is that what you were going to say, Esther, too? Yeah.
They're like synonyms, right?
They're synonyms, exactly. So when you reflect a word, it's a synonym, exactly. So cold and freezing, or even cold or chilly, something like that. So you can use two or three of the words from your first sentence need to either be the same exact words in your last sentence or reflecting in your last sentence. You're going to do 3 paragraphs. So skip a line, Roman numeral 2. Let's do another one. We're going to set it all up for you so you're ready to go this week. And then that word clincher and topic in the margin just to help you remember. And then Roman numeral 3. And clincher. Topic up here. All right. Topic clincher. The topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. We know key words, right? We've been doing a bunch of those in our KWOs, and they're the main words of the sentence. So whatever you use in one sentence, in the first sentence, you're going to copy it or use something close to it in the last sentence. By the way, like I said on the front of this page, you have your 3 topics already. So let's put those in. Let's put the first one is called the hooded pitahui. We might as well write that one in. The next bird is the African ostrich and the southern cassowary. So those are the 3 dangerous birds. And let's go ahead and write at the very top. I know I'm going fast. I'll slow down in a second here. Dangerous birds, that's your subject. That is the subject of your paper this week is dangerous birds. And you've got your 3 birds you're going to talk about. Now we're going to look for facts. We're actually going to look for 7. I said 5, but really it's 7. But you're going to have way more than 7 that we're going to read about. So you got to really think about what you're going to pick as far as what's interesting about these birds. Okay, thumbs up when you got your keyword outline all ready to go. I see that. Esther, good. Liana, good. Chloe, good. I see that. Dakota, and then Eliana. Okay. Let's look at the hooded pitahui. Such a weird word, but that is what they're called. That's going to be on page 65. Now, something new that I want you to do as I'm reading it, I want you to underline facts, like groups of words about things that you think are interesting. It doesn't have to be the whole sentence. It's just a group of words you're like, I like that fact about this bird. That's interesting. Your goal is 7, but if you underline 10, that's okay because you'll have to pick from those what you want to use. But your goal is 7. Okay, so feel free to underline as we go. I'm going to underline my own ideas You can underline the same, or you might pick something different. The hooded pitahooey, and it tells you how to say it. Pit-a-hooey. Is the first poisonous bird ever discovered? Okay, right away, I see that as important to know. I'm going to underline it. It's up to you if you like that one to use. The bird lives in the forests of New Guinea. I'm going to underline forests of New Guinea. That's another fact. Remember, we can have 7. Might have to narrow this down later. Where it is known as the rubbish bird. If you like that, underline it. Part of the oriole family, this songbird is brightly colored with a red or orange belly and back and a black hood-like head. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Gonna underline that. It is a medium-sized bird, averaging about 9 inches in length. And that's interesting, but it's kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna pick and choose here. In 1989, a researcher was assisting a hooded pitahooey caught in a mesh trap. Its claws scratched the man and his skin grew numb. That's interesting. He got scratched and his skin grew numb. I'm going to just underline that word, like right here, the researcher, just so I know who we're talking about. He licked the cuts and his tongue grew numb too. That's weird. I'm going to underline that just because that's weird. Tests showed the bird's feathers and skin were poisonous. Oh man, the feathers and the skin were poisonous. While the hooded pitahooey primarily eats fruit, it also consumes various insects, and it probably gets its toxicity from eating chorusing beetles. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to underline that. The poison is batrachotoxin, similar to that of the poison dart frog. Okay, interesting. And it may serve to deter predators as well as protect the birds from parasites. Local natives know not to hunt or eat the pitahooey. All right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got close. I got kind of 8 facts in here. If you have more than that, that's okay. But that helps when you read through your article the first time, just kind of like start underlining things that you think are interesting. I'm going to have to cut out one of these because I can only have 7. Did anybody get a different number of facts? Anybody get more than 8 facts that you underlined? No? Okay, good. All right, so from there, this is now where we're going to start transferring these facts onto our outline here. So the first one I underlined was it's the first poisonous bird ever discovered. That's pretty interesting to me. I think that is pretty relevant to what we're talking about. So I'm going to put next to number 1 here, first poisonous bird discovered. By the way, up here, we can think of a word to add to the opening sentence. After reading that article, does anybody have any ideas of what is a word we can use to kind of introduce the hooded pitahooey in your paragraph? Can you guys think of a word like an adjective we could put there? We already have dangerous in the title. We already have poisonous we're going to put here. Maybe, what's another word for dangerous? Any ideas out there? Chloe?
Deadly or like deadly or like
Deadly's a good one. Although it didn't kill the guy, so I don't know if it's actually deadly. What do you think, Eliana? Do you think of a word you could put there?
Unsafe.
Unsafe? Yeah. Could use unsafe. Could leave it blank and think about that. Okay, a word that would describe the hooded pitahooey. Um, they did call it a rubbish bird. Do you know what rubbish means? Rubbish? Yeah, you do. Esther, what is rubbish?
Trash bird.
Trash bird, exactly. It's basically trash or garbage, right? So it's known as a rubbish bird. I guess we could put that up here. I'm going to write that just because I can't think of anything else right now. But later, if you want to change that, you can change that. Since pitted hooded, hooded pitahooey is the name, we're going to count that as one. So I can actually add one more word here, the word bird. Hooded pitahooey is a rubbish bird. It's the first poisonous bird ever discovered. What's something else? I'm gonna have you guys take turns filling in this. So how about Dakota? What is something else you underlined toward the beginning there that you think is either interesting or important or relevant?
So the first sentence
For
or the
number two,
oh, okay.
like whatever sentence there, we're not going to use every sentence this time. We're going to pick and choose here.
Okay. Um
Maybe where it lives.
uh New Guinea.
Yeah, New Guinea. I have in the forests. So what could we put here for number two on our outline?
Um Forests. Um and then New Guinea.
Yeah, I like that. Good. Uinea. It's a weird word, New Guinea. Forest in New Guinea. And then Liana, when you're ready, I know you're still writing. What is the next or another interesting fact that you want to include in for number three?
Um, its colors.
Yeah, that's going to be a little tricky, but how can we put that?
Um,
We might be able to abbreviate some of those colors.
um, how do we abbreviate red and orange?
What if we did like RD for red and orange, we could do OR. Or did you have an idea, Esther? What's your thought? Oops, you're muted. Unmute.
I found a word for the bird. The we were trying to find a new word for
Oh,
dangerous. Hazardous.
what is the word?
Hazardous.
Ooh, hazardous. Ooh, I like that one too. I'm gonna write it up here just so we don't forget. Hazardous. And keep that in mind if you like that one. Okay, so what if, go ahead. You can go, Esther.
Treacherous.
Treacherous? Another one. Nice. Now she's thinking. What if we did RD for red and OR for orange? Can we remember that that's red and orange?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and then we could probably use the word belly and back, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Belly, back, and then it says black hood-like head. So black could be BLK, maybe?
Jack.
Okay, BLK, and then what? We got hood-like and head, and hood-like has a dash in it, so we could count that as one word. So how can we put that? What do you think?
Mm, maybe we could put hoodlack and then draw a head.
Yes, I like it. Hood like. That just means it looks like a hood. It's like over the top, you know. And then a head. I'm just gonna draw a guy and then I'm gonna draw an arrow to the head. But whatever you guys want to do for head. Zoom in so you can see that. So we got RD, that's gonna stand for red. OR is gonna be orange, belly, back. BLK is black. Hood like, head. Good. I like it. Okay. And then let's see, Esther. What's another fact you want to put in here? And you guys can, by the way, while she's thinking and talking, you guys go ahead of me, okay? Look at all the facts that you underline and fill it in all the way to 7. You can move ahead of us, okay?
Like a very good teacher. The claws. We could draw a picture of claws, and then we could put scratch, and then draw a picture of a man.
Yes. Okay. Do we need 1989 researcher? Do you think we need to include that? You don't know? I kind of think we do, maybe. Well, maybe not. It didn't really give us any names or anything, so maybe not. It could just be claws. However you guys want to do it. So you're saying, okay, I'm going to do my claws like that. That doesn't look like it looks like a chicken foot. I think I have too many toes on there. Anyway, hopefully your claw looks better than that. Scratched. And then you said man, like draw a little stick figure guy. And then what? We have room for 2 more words, so how can we finish telling what happened to him?
Let me see. His skin numb.
Yes, I like it. Skin numb. Good. And then Eliana, do we want to include for the next one that he licked? You know how sometimes that sounds gross, but I don't know if you've ever done that before. Like you scratch yourself and you're like, ah, and you just kind of automatically lick it. Has anybody done that?
Yes.
Okay.
Like whenever I like poke myself with like a needle whenever I'm like felting or like stitching or something because
Oh,
now I
yeah.
can't do that.
Exactly.
I always like lick it.
Yeah. Or you get a paper cut, it's like, ow, and you just, because sometimes the
I eat it.
saliva kind of helps it a little bit. You've done that before,
Yeah.
Esther? Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one here. Do you want to put that part though, Eliana, that he licked it and then his tongue grew numb?
Um,
What do you think?
we'll probably need to know how his tongue like finger grew numb and how he tried to do it, or how his tongue grew numb.
I heard the first part of that. We're gonna go into like why it turned numb later, but what do you think we should put for number 5? Like I said, you guys can go ahead if you already have ideas.
Maybe we could put like a mouth
Okay.
and then tongue and numb.
Okay. Well, we could just put licked and then tongue and numb. You want to just do
Yeah,
that? Okay.
yeah,
Licked, tongue, numb.
yeah.
All right, now this is where we really need to get into like how they're poisonous. So what do you think, Chloe? How are we going to describe this? what part of the bird is poisonous? Do you remember the part that we underlined? Or I underlined it.
Feather and skin were poisonous.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to put that next then? Because that's the part that's poisonous. Okay. So feathers, skin, poisonous. And then I think the last one, Dakota, should be like, what makes them poisonous? What do they eat that makes them poisonous? Ooh, I just thought of another word too while you're thinking. Esther, what if you said toxic? Up here is another good word. You could say pitahui, hooded pitahui, toxic bird. That would work. There's lots of good words to describe. Okay, so Dakota, what do you think? What did they eat? I'm looking right here. I think I underlined it right here.
Um,
It's a certain type of beetle. You see that word there?
they eat chorus.
Chorusine, I think is how you say it.
Yeah, chorusing beetles.
Chorusine beetles. I really like that word toxicity. That's how it becomes toxic. And maybe we can draw a little like Pac-Man face for eating. That's kind of what we always do, to symbolize eating. And then we could put chorusing beetles. What do you think, Dakota? You like that idea?
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys have something different, put what you think. Toxicity. So you'll say they get their toxicity from eating. I'm going to do my Pac-Man here. And then the word chorusing, and beetles. All right. So, yes, Esther.
Are you recording this?
I am. Yes, I am.
Okay.
You can come back and
Thank-
watch it if you need to. Um, you're going to work on the African ostrich and the southern cassowary. Same thing. Okay, so put a comma and a blank here because you're going to think of a word, try to use something different. But here's an idea. Do you guys have a highlighter in your packet of stuff with you? If you do like this, if you have a highlighter, go ahead and grab a highlighter real quick. If you don't have a highlighter, you can put a box around these words. But for the topic clincher, I'm going to help you with this first one. I see that, Esther. Go ahead and just highlight hooded pitahui. That's 2 words. Even though it's the name of the bird, we're going to count it as 2 words for topic clincher. And then down here next to clincher, I want you to put an arrow and I want you to write it again, hooded pit o hui. And then I want you to highlight that again right here, like that. So here's how you guys can do the topic clincher for your first paragraph. You could say, the hooded pitahui is a very hazardous bird. Simple sentence. You could probably come up with a better sentence than that. If I say the hooded pitahui is a very hazardous bird. And then at my last sentence, I'm going to incorporate number 7 with the words hooded pitahui. So you could say something like this. The hooded pitahui gets its toxicity by eating chorusing beetles. And the words hooded and pitahui can be your repeat words for your topic clincher. Yes, Dakota, do you have a quick question?
Um, so on the clincher, is that just making a sentence?
So the clincher is reminding you that for that one above it, number 7, you're going to include something from the first sentence, okay? You don't have to make another new sentence. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So it can be part of number 7. So like I just said, your first sentence could be something like, the hoodoo is a hazardous bird. And then you say all these things, where it's discovered, where it's found, what it looks like, all the information, okay? And then you get to the last sentence here, and you make sure to include hoodoo again and say, the hoodoo gets its toxicity by eating chorusing beetles. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Same with these. So we can go ahead and do that because that's going to be an easy one. Highlight African ostrich and then write next to clincher, write African ostrich. That'll help you remember to do that. If you guys are typing this, you can pick a highlighter on your document. If you're handwriting it, you can use an actual highlighter. So however you guys are doing your paper. And then down here, Southern cassowary. Oops, Casso. Okay, so that's to remind you when you get to the point of writing your papers, include these words. We're just going to repeat. Don't worry about reflecting yet, unless you want to try that. You can. You can say like rubbish and garbage down here, or you can say toxic and hazardous, or you can add another word at the end, okay? But it's good practice to just repeat them to start. And here you've got hoodoo hui, African ostrich, Southern cassowary. So just repeat those words in the first sentence and the last sentence, and that'll be your topic clincher. I know we're just a tiny bit late here, but check your checklist really quick. Get your checklist. Just want you to peek at it really quick. It's right here, the 4th box down. There's the rule. Topic clincher sentences, repeat or reflect 2 to 3 key words. Highlight or bold. So if you're typing it, you can use bold if you want, or highlight. Make sure I can see through the highlight. Don't do like black highlight. Okay, can't see through that. And then you've got your because clauses on here too. So make sure you include those in each paragraph and watch out for your banned words. Did you guys know eat, ate is on here? So when you're talking about how they eat chorusing beetles, don't use eat or ate. All right, you guys, I gotta let you go. You can stay on if you have any last minute questions. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Have a good one, you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you next week.